Vayunitai go Radhe Shyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram Vayunitai go Radhe Shyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram.
Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Radharaman, Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Dandavat pranams and welcome to Gaura Sangha. A conversation between Baba Mahasai and Pyari Babu. Pyari asked, "Will you kindly tell me what a fallen soul like me should do so that he can make steady progress in the path of God realization?" Baba, for weak, sinful, and Maya-bound Jivas like us, the only remedy is Nama Sankirtan. Pyari, but there are many names of the Lord like Rama, Krishna, Dwarkanath, Giridhari, etc. Which of these names should one take? Baba, there are so many names because the Lord is infinite. He has infinite forms. Each form has a name which is identical with the form. The name of the Lord Himself is that form. There have to be infinite forms because there are devotees of different kinds, and their likings and dispositions are different. One has to choose a particular form according to his liking and fix the mind firmly on it. Pyari, how can one fix one's mind firmly on the Lord? The very nature of the mind is to remain unfixed. Baba, the only way of fixing the mind is through prema or love. If you love your Lord with all your heart and soul, then your mind will turn from other things and always remain fixed on the Lord. Pyari, how do you get prema? Baba, prema is eternally realized. It cannot be attained by any sadhana. It is a jewel that shines by its own light. Neither Shravana nor Kirtana nor other means can generate prema. All spiritual disciplines aim primarily at the purity of the heart. When the heart is purified, prema, which is already there, becomes manifest. Pyari, but Baba, I would like to know one thing. If someone is so fallen and weak that he can neither practice raga or vaidhi bhakti, is there not a way for him to attain the lotus feet of the Lord? Baba replied, why not? Take the example of a similar situation in the mundane sphere. Suppose you are the owner of a big estate which needs to be managed, but you are mentally and physically incapable of taking care of it. Then what will you do? Pyari, I will give this attorneyship to someone so that they can manage it for me. Baba, the same is true in the spiritual world. You should then give attorneyship to someone who is capable of doing everything for you. You should surrender sincerely and wholly depend upon him to deliver Krishna to you. Pyari, does that mean that in that case one need to do any sadhana? Baba. In that case, one should try as far as possible to practice the sadhana prescribed by one's guru. But if he cannot practice it, then he should at least not do anything against the precept of the guru or shastra. Guru is like a boatman who promises to carry you across the ocean. He rows and asks you to row, so that the destination can be reached quicker. But if you cannot row as he wants, then you must not row haphazardly in different directions, like moving everywhere. You should remain sitting quietly with faith and confidence that he will get you across sooner or later. Pyari Babu then fell at the feet of Baba Mahasai with tears in his eyes and said with a voice choked with emotion, Baba, I am a failing creature who is drowning in the ocean of Maya and is fighting helplessly with the waves. I therefore surrender myself completely at your feet. Kindly accept me as your servant forever and ever and never leave me. Baba Mahasai said, don't worry, you are mine. Baba Mahasai Ki Jai. This similar situation we can see in so many different stories and teaching from the saints. In the very core of the lyric of Guru Ashtakam, Guru Varshtakam, or Samsara Davala, also called nowadays, we read these lines where the devotee is praising his guru by this supreme nature of the Siddhatmas. But we must be very clear and honest. Also, spiritual master should have all the qualities as read in the Gurvastakam. Gurudev should be honest. Shri Guru should be a perfect sadhaka. He should display the perfection of the bhajan. He should display the perfection of the philosophy and the actions. The Guru Bani is sacred as far as the word of Guru is in connection with his actions. When the action of a Guru is not connected with his word, meaning he says something but do something else, this is not possible. This is not a way, and it's not the signs of a bona fide spiritual master. Spiritual master must be connected with his word. His word are connected with his heart, and his heart is fully surrendered to his spiritual master and the Granta and Sadhus. Otherwise, our destination will be to fail in the spiritual practice due to following a fallen spiritual leader. So all the chips will go to the hole. When Baba Mahasai explained here that we must to surrender fully to that boatman that will cross us from one side of the ocean to the other side. One side is material world, Mahamaya, this illusion, this creation, And the other side of the ocean is our spiritual destination. For once will be Ayodhya, for once will be Vaikunta, for once will be Dwarka, for other sadhakas, practitioners, it will be Nitya Vrindavan or Nitya Vihar, as you wish to call it. So that boatman, the captain of the ship, must be an expert. He must know exactly how to do, when to do, what to do in the right moment when the storms are coming. If the boatman of the captain of the ship, when the storm is coming, start running away and will leave the disciples alone, of course the result will be an absolutely tragedy. It will be like a comedy show where the disciple will have to take control of the ship, of the boat, and they will start spinning around, drowning, I say. So this is important thing to really, truly realize. Many, and I have been also in walking the path of following a spiritual leader or spiritual guru out of my emotions, sentimentalism. The ones who have been studying the text and the philosophy of Bhaktivedanta Swami, we know very clear, very good this word, sentimentalism, sentiment. Sentimentalism will not lead us to Krishna, to Radha, will not lead us to Nitai Gaur, will not lead us to nowhere more than to lead us to fail. Because sentimentalism is the same that a young man or young woman do when they follow only their heart. Young lady get pregnant without any education, without any support, without any money. The young man fell in love with one lady, and in the next week fell in love with another lady, and it's like this, breaking hearts everywhere, and it's just doing damage and producing karma against him and against everybody who is around him. So only following our heart because sentimentalism is not enough to achieve the supreme goal, the supreme truth. That what is the supreme truth? Is the lotus feet, are the lotus feet of Radharani Priyapritam. If we are not going to that direction, then if we are Gaudiya Vaishnava, if you are a Gaudiya Vaishnava, maybe your goal is the lotus feet of Nitai Gauranga or Nitai Gauranga, Gadadhar, Panchatattva, etc. But you have a goal. But if the leader is not walking on that direction, then it's nothing what you can do there more than to wait for the death, spiritual death. And that is not something to play with, and nobody should be playing with the faith and playing with the spiritual path of no one. In order for one devotee to know truly if they are growing and if they are doing right in life, they must always go through the Shastra, Guru and Sadhu, and to have the chance and possibility that sadhus can correct the wrong behavior in some moments. But of course, by sadhus, we understand that they are pure devotees. Because if we are listening the words of anyone who has a spiritual name or has diksha or not even diksha, just harinam, and they are not fully developed, they are in a kanishta adhikari stage. So our path will be very difficult because we are dealing with somebody who has no realization in a superior stage of bhav will give instructions to somebody else. Let's say I have a friend who is a devotee and he's instructing me, but he's not on a superior platform. Then I will be dealing through his instructions, even if the instructions are with good heart and good feeling toward me, I will be dealing with his problems. It's the same if we receive harinam or mantra from somebody who is full contaminated. If we are receiving mantra, harinam or diksha from somebody who is contaminated in the heart, even if he is pronouncing the mantras, he will bring to us his samskars that are not solved. He will bring to us, he will give to us through the sound, through his mouth, through the mind, he will give to us his own shadows. What to say about a Kanishta Adhikari or somebody who is not yet there? Because Kanishta Adhikari is somebody who is a practitioner of Vidhi Bhakti. He is following the regulative principles of the spiritual life, that is no intoxication, no meat eating, animal eating, no gambling, no drugs, right? No illicit sex. There are several different topics, points that we must observe as a Kanishta Adhikari in the most basic stage of Bhakti Yoga. We must to follow and to understand the basic things, and these things are not specially for Gaudiya Math or for ISKCON. Don't fool yourself thinking, no, this is for that people. No, it's not like that. Because these principles are based on Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas has many regulations for Vidhi Bhakti, for the first stages of Bhakti Yoga. And those regulations are given us by the Goswamis. This is called the Goswamis of Vrindavan. The 8 Goswamis of Vrindavan, or 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They live under this basis. And Raganuga Bhakti, what is the evolution of Vidhi, is there and happens, and that stage of evolution is a constant flow from the heart. In that stage, you don't need anymore any kind of special regulations. Regulations are for the basic stage, but because the ground of your bhakti have been through the regulations that the Goswamis are giving us for Gaudiya Vaishnavism, then when you keep growing, it's not that in some moment you start Raganuga and you will erase all the foundation of your bhakti. This is not possible. Indeed, Raganuga is there because you have been crossing all Vidhi Bhakti. You are cleaning yourself. You clean yourself. You clean your mind. You clean your heart. You train your body. You train your mind. Then you start walking freely. It's the same that a kid, when start using a bicycle, the bicycle for kids has the 2 wheels, yes, one front, one in the back, handlebar, and in the back wheel has 2 small wheels, right? This is Vidhi Bhakti. These are the regulations that are keeping him in track and he can ride the bike, right? So as far as he learned to ride the bike and learn how to ride and not fail. Fail is the spiritual catastrophe. So he learned how to drive without failing. Then he can. The parents normally take one wheel out from the back, the small wheels, one wheel out. So he can keep the bike and he can drive without danger. All this process is Vidhi Bhakti. So after the last wheel will go out and he has only two wheels and he can drive the bike. Some ones get professional level, and some ones just drive. Anyways, whoever, they has the experience and learn from the small wheels to keep control of the bike, the bicycle, right? I'm talking about bicycle. Yes or not? Yes. So in the same way, there is Vidhi Bhakti, and the Vidhi Bhakti has the principles. These principles we must to observe. Everybody must to observe. It's not that after some time when you are realized or you will forget everything about Vidhi Bhakti. It's not like that. Because if you see, like all the big sadhus, babas and acharyas, Vaishnavas, they are still practicing. They wake up early in the morning, go to sleep early or late if they are doing bhajan. They chant their rounds, Haridas Thakur, to say. It's not that he achieved such a high level and our Gauranga Mahaprabhu give him the name of Namacharya, Haridas Thakur Namacharya, and he said, oh, I am already the Namacharya, so I stopped chanting. No, he kept chanting. He kept chanting 3 lakhs. Right? Yes or not? All the Babajis and all the Acharyas from the different parivars, they keep doing, they are in raga. Their actions is not forced action, it's natural, but naturally they wake up early, naturally they don't use drugs, naturally they don't associate with the grown people, naturally they do everything because they practice. In the very beginning, in the very early stage of life, in devotional, in bhakti, they did the practice. That's why they achieve perfection. You cannot jump to Raganuga just like this. That is the walk of the fools. That is the path of the fools. Because you must to control your mind and your body in order to enter to bhajan. This is the meaning of everything, is to control the body, control the mind in order to enter to bhajan. See, if your mind is not under control and your body is not under control and purified, both, and the heart, you cannot enter to bhajan. If you don't enter to bhajan, what kind of spiritual practice are you doing or you are doing? If you cannot enter to bhajan, there is no spirituality. You can do positive karma in order to achieve the spiritual path and to start doing spiritual life. And by good karma, I can say, for example, to distribute books. To distribute books will not give you Krishna, will not give you Nitya Vrindavan, the supreme abode, will not. You have to enter to bhajan. Why? Because the supreme goal, the supreme loka, the platform of consciousness of Radha and Krishna, the supreme Vrindavan, you achieve through bhajan. You have to meditate. The anga of bhakti, right? Shravanam. You listen, you learn from real guru, Satguru. Kirtanam. You chant. Kirtan doesn't mean to chant loudly with a group with mirdangam playing like a band. Kirtan is to chant the glories of Lord. You can chant the glories alone, as I do. For example, I chant alone. Smaranam. From there in Kirtanam, is the starting point of Bhajan, because there you start meditating. You listen first. The first step is to listen. You listen, then you start repeating, chanting, and then start memorizing and remembering the lila. So there starts your bhajan. But in order to close your eyes, to take your mala, and to start chanting, and not chanting like just to get rid of this ritualism, because you cannot concentrate. This is problem. When you see sadhakas, practitioners who are chanting too fast just to make the 16 rounds or whatever rounds they are chanting daily, this is not bhajan, and this is not really truly helping. Indeed, it can be even against themselves, because you can produce nama aparat, and that is really not good. If you control your mind, then you can put your mind center and focus on your bhajan, and you can chant the holy names, the mantra, the Maha Mantra. You can chant deeply in bhajan, in meditation. When all this process is correct, you have been walking the process correct, and you are free of aparat, Nama aparat, Vaishnava aparat, Dhamma aparat, then this chanting will start being sweet and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And you can sit in this position, chant this and to chant 16 rounds in a good rhythm, and the lilas will be crossing in your mind, in your spiritual intelligence. You will see everything there. You will travel through these dimensions, and you will feel all this. You will experiment through the Harinam, through the holy name. But for that, you must to enter in meditation, in bhajan. To do your bhajan, you must to do then the first stage is to do Vidhi Bhakti. But you cannot do Vidhi Bhakti if you don't surrender to a bona fide guru. Bona fide guru is who is expert in everything I have been saying, is expert in all the areas of Bhakti. He is a supreme soul. That's why in somehow we also understand that guru is Bhagavan, is Krishna. In this way, he is Krishna, because he is the perfection of the path of a sadhaka. Just as Sri Gauranga Nitai, Sri Gauranga show the path, the perfection, how he did. Sri Gauranga was not going to the street to speak about philosophy. Gauranga went to the street with his group, Sankirtan, to play the Harinam, the names of the Lord. And the ones who were truly touched and interested in this topic, they start learning the Shastra step by step. But it's not upside down. Even though it can be upside down, I have been preaching as a young boy. I was preaching philosophy, direct philosophy, and then Harinam, Mahamantra. But the way of Gauranga was to teach the Harinam. Everybody must to chant Harinam. And through the Harinam, they will purify and their intelligence will increase. And step by step, they will get to Shastra and to understand the philosophy, what will lead to turn into the Vaishnava. The supreme path over all the path of spiritual life is this. So to do this process, we must to surrender to a bona fide guru. It's not a requirement to surrender to the guru family, the guru of the family, or who my parents or somebody else have been following. No, I must to find my path. What is my path? You have to speak with your heart. Your heart must to speak, and you have to understand deeply why I want this, what is my path, and to dig in the philosophy and to ask to experimental devotees. But never, never, ever do your path through the recommendations, instructions that somebody who is not realized, a realized soul will give to you, because they will just put some subtle energy through their words, and then you will have problems because they have not been dealing with their own things. They are still in that process, so they cannot give any instruction on anything. People give an instruction, and after they are using drugs or smoking marijuana or God knows what else, those instructions are useless and indeed are contamination. You should never hear that kind of instructions. Only get and take instructions of sadhakas who have been walking the path and they are honest. To know so many things is not important. Knowledge is not the path to Krishna. Bhav is the path to Krishna. How they walk to get to that level of Bhav, that is what you have to know, and you have to inquire on Acharya to know if really you can learn from him or from her. Otherwise, your path will be like walking around. Not good. And nowadays there are so many schools or leaders who really are not realized souls, are not Atmarama either. And they are leading so many people, but none of them, of those disciples, are developed. How many of the disciples are using, as I say, drugs? They are jumping over all the rules and regulations of Sanatana Goswami, Hari Bhakti Vilas, of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. They don't follow anything. And they pretend to be chanting Harinam or using Diksha mantras. All what they are doing is to destroy their own intelligence and achieving tons of karma that they must do, start cleaning this life or next life. Sadly, it's like that. So, honest hearts will lead to honest leaders, spiritual masters, spiritual guru, who will lead you to the light, will enlighten your mind and your heart, and through that you will have the chance to see the final goal. As Babaji Mahasai say in this text, you have to fully surrender to a spiritual master, but it must be a real spiritual master. Nowadays, in the circus of spirituality that we can see everywhere, it's very difficult to find a bona fide one. But how you see is a bona fide, not by his own words or what their disciples say, because the disciples many times develop a blind faith. And they have this echo effect. One say one great thing, the other say 2 times great thing, the next one say 3 times great things about Guru. And so in the end, everybody's hallucinating something incredible. The reality is not. So how you see, you have to see the story of the Guru, how he react, how he act. When the storm is coming, what your Guru is doing. he get strong and he get his disciple and say, this is what we have to do. Or he just run away and let you alone. If that is the case, you don't have no business with people like that. Because they failed you already, and they will fail you in the future, because you will not achieve anything. You are just an asset, somebody to make money from. But if your guru is really there instructing and not caring if people like or not the instruction, he go for the truth, then this is real guru. You have to see the actions, not the words. The words can say anything. I can say to you, I can fly. When you are not looking at me, I fly. I have wings. Behind this chadar, I have wings, 2 wings like angel. I can say many things, but you are intelligent. You will say, show me the wings, show me that you can fly. And then you will realize, I cannot fly. But many people think their leaders can fly, but they don't fly. So as they don't fly, also they cannot deliver souls. And you can see. A guru you can see by his sangha. If his or her sangha is pure, or they are trying to be pure, they're following, working hard, honest people, nice hearts, then that is a path to the correct way. Otherwise, it's difficult. Jai Jai Shri Radheshyam. Nitai Gaur Haribo.